So I posted a video recently of me starting my new cricket bed, and I was going to show you the results. So it's been a few weeks since the adult crickets laid their eggs and then they died. Most crickets don't live but about 8 weeks. So when they're chirping, they're ready to breed. Get your adult crickets, get your bedding done, put them in here, let them breed, take the dead crickets out, and then wait a couple weeks, and you will start to see results. Now check this out. You see there's a few on the top here. But look at this. Wow, that is amazing. There are so many baby crickets. And yes, these are crickets, not ants. You can look at them and see they're crickets. There has to be millions in here because that's just what's on the egg crate. There are tons down on the bottom on the soil. And they're loving the dog food. They like their little cricket gels. We have a sponge with some water on it because crickets cannot drink from a bowl of water. They will drown themselves. So you need to put like sliced potatoes, like a sponge with water, a wet paper towel. I even get those little cricket gels from Flukes. You can find that on Amazon. And it's so crickets can get water and stay hydrated. It's like $2.90 for a jar of those little gels. But if you can't get the gels, that's fine. Get a paper towel and just like slightly wetting it every day. Make sure it has wet water on it and is damp. You don't want it soaking wet, but you do want it damp. I put a little bit of greenery in here to lay the vegetables on because these crickets, they love squash, taters. I put a little piece of watermelon in here. But the potatoes and the squash is always your best bet to feeding crickets. Sometimes I add zucchini. You can put an orange slice in. And of course, they're going to dry up and you'll have to replace them like these. We'll have to replace those today. But yeah, check out all the crickets. That's amazing. And I've saved so much money by doing this because in a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, they'll be big enough for the reptiles to start eating. They grow fast. Get your crickets from a breeder because wild crickets are full of parasites and they will make your reptiles sick. You don't want that. Get enough crickets from a breeder. Not a bait store because a bait store, typically they have fishing crickets and they've not been raised like clean in a clean environment. So usually they're full of parasites too. I'd say go to a pet store or order from Josh's Frogs and get you some good crickets that are clean and start raising your own. Now for the bedding, a lot of people don't use mulch, but I do. I like the mulch on top of the soil because the mulch they can climb up on and they can get away from being like trampled over because crickets will trample each other. They will smother each other out and they'll stomp all over each other and kill each other. So I use the pieces of mulch on top of the soil so they have somewhere to climb up on and kind of get away from everybody else and not get stomped to death. Now, you can get this stuff when you're making your cricket bed. I done my last video showing you guys what I put in here, and now that you see how it does work, my way does work. There's the baby crickets. I'll show you again. My last video was up a few weeks ago. Go check it out. But it does work. There's the results. For all the haters out there who was like, it doesn't work, no, go watch some YouTube videos. It does work, and here's the proof. You can save so much money, and when you think, oh, well, crickets are really cheap, actually, around here in North and South Carolina, they're not cheap. They're actually about $80 for 600 to 700 crickets. And usually by the time you get home, many of them are dead, and they're full of parasites. Even if you order from like on the internet, they're still kind of expensive. So it's just cheap and free to do it yourself. You can start a garden, grow your own potatoes, squash, cucumbers, zucchini, watermelon, different things, cabbage, lettuce, whatever. I put old dog food in here. When I cook vegetables like squash, zucchini, and stuff, I keep the ends and the cuts, the skins, and I put it in here with them. You see, it works. They love it. Especially the taters, they love taters. The only reason I use little gels is because I can toss them out around for the ones that, don't get over to the sponge and the paper towel. But you see, it works.